Hi guys, so my name's Holly. Welcome if you're new here. This is my cat Peanut. But I wanted to talk to you guys today about stretching, how it can help you, and we're gonna do a little experiment to see how flexible I can get in a month. Maybe 2 months if I'm feeling good about it. So the reason why I'm doing this little experiment is because for the past year or two, I've had some sort of like upper back pain and I've just been like feeling super tight, and I work out a lot. Like I'll go to the gym and, exercise, but I haven't been taking the time to stretch. And I work a job where I'm like sitting at a desk a lot of the day. So at the end of the day, a lot of times I'll be like super tight and like my muscles are just like tense. And I know that like if I stretch, it will get better. So a little background, I started stretching like semi-consistently probably like 1 to 1.5 months ago. I'll put a little calendar up here of like how often I've been stretching per day. I downloaded this app called Bend. It's actually really nice. It's super simple. They're not sponsoring this video or anything. I just like the app. And I feel like it's been a really great tool that, because it's so simple and because I paid for it, now I'm like really committed to stretching every single day, at least a little bit. So I want to keep it going. But I have like larger flexibility goals than just my back and, getting rid of pain. Like obviously I want to be like flexible for my general health, but I also really want to like get my splits back, and like be able to do a back bend really comfortably and just like turn into like this like contortionist. I think that would be like super cool. Obviously that's not something that you can do overnight, but I thought it would be fun to at least work to build the habit together, and show you what you could realistically do in 1 or 2 months, with just a simple routine. So onto the research sort of aspect of this. There is a minimum amount of stretching that you need to do per muscle group per week in order to lengthen those muscles. And there is an optimal range because you can stretch too much, to the point where you either hurt yourself or you're just like stretching beyond what your body is going to be able to, I guess, repair. I've like listened to the Andrew Huberman podcast about stretching, and then also some people on YouTube. There's a point at which, you can stretch a certain amount, but then once you hit this certain amount, you're not going to improve your flexibility anymore by stretching more. So we want to be optimally stretching at that point. So the most amount of time where you get the most benefit, but not too much time where you're injuring yourself or just wasting your time by stretching, because you're not actually going to be improving anymore by stretching more. Apparently, the like optimal range for stretching is around 9 to 10 minutes per week per muscle group that you're wanting to lengthen. Between 30 and 60 seconds is where scientists, I guess, in research studies have seen the most benefit. Stretching any more than 60 seconds per muscle group is kind of like not any more beneficial than stretching 30 seconds, or 60 seconds. So I've chosen to do 30-second sets. So in this routine, I have kind of like written it all out here, but we're going to be doing 4 different poses, I guess, for each muscle group, and each of those poses is going to be 30 seconds. So in total, doing this routine 1 time, we're going to hit each muscle group for 2 minutes, and then if we do that 5 times a week, that's 10 minutes per week. We're going to be targeting chest, core, back, our hamstrings, our quads, our hip flexors, our hip adductors, I think they would be, or like your inner thighs, your neck, your shoulders, and your glutes. It's actually not that long of a routine. I think it's maybe like 24 minutes. So it's actually pretty doable, and I sort of had this misconception, I guess, that stretching needed to be like the people who are super flexible, they just like got that way from like stretching like for super long amounts of time and like doing these complicated stretches, but it's really not like that. I think it's apparently more about the consistency that you have, and the like number of repetitions that you're doing. So yeah, we're gonna try it for a month and see what happens. I'm gonna show you guys my sort of before pictures, how flexible I currently am. I think maybe we'll do that after having done this routine, so that like I'm kind of like warmed up, and then we're gonna compare that with how it all looks after 1 month, doing this 5 times a week. So if I see significant results, feel free to like, you know, follow along this challenge with me. Anywho, let's look at how I do before with each of these moves. Here's my current forward fold. Front split left side. I'm actually pretty surprised by this. Front split right side. This is my bad side. Middle split. I'm actually not that far. Oh god. Bridge. Back stretch right side. Oh boy. Back stretch left side. I can't even touch. Forward fold here. Pancake. Like keeping my back straight, I can't really go any further than here. Upward dog or cobra. Lunge. Left side. Lunge. Right side. I want to do one more stretch because I forgot this one earlier. Right. Left side. And right side. Oh boy. So hello, it's been 2 full weeks since I've started the stretching routine, and I wanted to just pop in and give you guys a quick little update to let you know how I'm feeling and how it's working so far. I've actually almost already got my split on my left side. Like, if I put a pillow underneath me, I can pretty much fully sit down now, which is like really surprising to me. And something interesting I've noticed is that I haven't actually been getting sore at all from doing this routine, even though it's pretty long. And I would attribute that to, you know, the stretches not being like too long. I'm not doing too much to where my muscles are being like overstretched. In the past, like some of the routines I've tried for, you know, getting my split and stuff, I was, you know, stretching for like 1 minute reps at a time, I guess. So I would like, you know, stretch my split on one side for 1 minute, and leading up to that I would do like a bunch of other hamstring stretches, you know, for long periods of time. And doing that, I always got like pretty, you know, sore the next day, and which would leave me kind of feeling like I couldn't even stretch at all. Like I'd have to like take time off from stretching because my muscles were just like so sore. But doing this routine, I haven't gotten like sore at all really, and I'm still seeing the benefits. So I think that's pretty good. Good sign. But yeah, so the splits have been going really well. I've noticed improvement in my bridges. When I first started, it was like really, really tough, but I think maybe my strength is improving a little bit. I'm starting to get like a better handle on like all the different stretches and sort of like leaning into them to get the most out of each stretch. There were a couple days, I'm not gonna lie, where I did not want to stretch at all. I had just like left it to the very last minute and, you know, just didn't leave myself much time at all. And I was just like tired, or I had like eaten a big meal and I was like, ugh, like I still have to stretch. But I soldiered through, I did it. So I'm really proud of myself. I'm in my 3rd week now, so I'm halfway through the 1st month, and yeah, we're gonna keep it going. I'm thinking like I definitely want to do more than 1 month because I feel like I'm just excited to see like the results, you know, like 2 months out. I think it's gonna be like way more impressive than just 1 month. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going and see how it goes. Guys, so I wanted to give you another update because it has now been 1 month since I started stretching, and I've done it consistently 5 days a week for 4 weeks. So that's 1 month. I do have some updates to share. I think that I may have actually kind of slightly hurt myself. So what I started to notice was that like in this last week, I was having some like lower back pain. And I looked it up, and I think I may have been doing my like bridge back extension stretches incorrectly. And the root cause of that apparently is because my thoracic spine, or my like upper torso area, is not yet flexible enough. So my lower back has been overcompensating and like hyperextending a little bit. And so that's been like causing some like pain when I'm stretching. So I'm gonna continue the challenge. I wanna like keep doing this.
it's kind of like funny timing because I did like the original routine for 1 month, and I think what I'm gonna do now, since I'm having this like lower back pain, is switch up my routine a little bit, get rid of the bridge stretches, and switch them out for some more like thoracic upper spine stretches and like shoulder mobility stuff, just to help me kind of like open up my back so that, you know, I can work on that first, and then, you know, once that's a little bit better, advance to the bridge stretches, which are kind of, you know, more difficult. So yeah, that's the plan. Everything's been going pretty well since my last update. I've actually moved into a new apartment with my boyfriend. Here's our little plant corner. This is like my baby, my pride and joy. I actually had to chop it up when I moved because it was like really tall. It was like way taller than me, and I just like couldn't fit it in my car, and it was kind of like leggy. So I decided to chop it up, and now I have a bunch of little babies like all over the apartment. And I'm planning to like propagate them and give them to friends hopefully at some point. So yeah, anyways, I'll let you guys know what the new routine is going to be. I don't really know yet. I'm kind of tired, but I need to stretch today, so I'm gonna like sit down and figure it out, and then I'll update you guys, let you know like what my new routine is going to be, and then I think I'm going to do that for a month, and we're going to see how it goes. Oh, I also need to do my 1 month like progress pictures, I guess. So I'm gonna sit down and I think do my routine and then the new routine, and then I'm gonna film the like progress stretches, so that we have like our benchmark from like beginning to 1 month to 2 months. So I can see like the progression of like what happened in the first month, what happened in the second month, and then where are we now. But yeah, so here we go. Hello, it's Editing Holly. I'm currently editing a little bit with Peanut, but I realized I forgot to film an update during my like second month, and I wanted to talk about the back pain that I was having. So I was having some lower back pain after the first month, and then decided to switch up the routine a little bit, and I did that. I did that new routine for about 1 week into the second month, and then was realizing I was still having some lower like back pain that was coming up even when doing like the lunge stretches, where you sort of like lunge and like, you know, put your like upper back backwards, and was kind of having some pain doing some of the other like upper back stretches, just because your back is all connected, and it was still kind of like pushing my lower back a little too far. So I decided actually to, after about 1 week, create a third routine and just completely get rid of the back stretches that I was doing that were hurting me. So yeah, so you're about to see the like version 3 routine that I did, and then I believe I did that routine for about 3 weeks, so the rest of the second month. So yeah, anyways, just wanted to give you guys that update. my thoughts about the challenge and some takeaways. I've written everything down here and I want to share it with you guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the number one thing that I want to emphasize and let you guys know is that the most important thing I think you can do when doing some sort of stretching or any sort of exercise challenge really like this is to listen to your body. When I first started having a little bit of like lower back pain around like week 4, I think in my head I just like didn't really understand that like pain signal was something that I needed to listen to and pay attention to and, you know, dial back a little bit after feeling that. I think in my head I was thinking, oh, just push through it. I was kind of going a little bit too hard, too fast, and my upper back, which going into this I had like some upper back pain, which might be due to like lack of flexibility or strength imbalances. But because I had some of that like upper back pain already, doing these like intense back stretches ended up being definitely too much for me, and ended up causing some of that like lower back pain I was talking about, where in doing those back stretches, because my upper back is so tight, my lower back was definitely overcompensating, and, you know, bending too much to the point where it does hurt, and it still kind of hurts like a little bit today. So I've just been like resting since then, and it's gotten better, but I think it's just going to take some time. So if you do any sort of exercise challenge like this, listen to your body. If you start to have any sort of pain or discomfort, I would say like seek professional opinions about that, or stop what you're doing, research a little bit more to figure out like why you might be having that symptom, because you definitely don't want to keep pushing through it. Yeah. The second thing I want to talk about were my successes. So number one, I think just the fact that I was actually able to do and complete this challenge, I am very proud of myself. I've never done anything like this before. Even like my gym routines, I'm not the type of person who's like, oh, I need to go to the gym, you know, 5 days a week, 3 days a week. I go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I never don't do that. I'm definitely more of like an intuitive, I like moving my body, but if I feel like shit one day, like I won't do anything. So the fact that I stuck to like an actual routine like this is definitely something that's new for me, and something that I'm proud of, because it shows that like I had the, what do you call it, tenacity or just like integrity to like follow through on this plan that I set out for myself. So I'm definitely proud of that. There were days when I really did not want to stretch. I left it till midnight. There was even one day I went on this retreat with a bunch of other women called the Magic Women Retreat, which I made a video about if you want to check it out. But there was one day there where I had stayed up so late, it was like 2 a.m. and I still hadn't stretched for like that day. And I was so exhausted, I was like, I'm just gonna go to sleep. I laid in my bed, I started to like go to sleep a little bit, but I just couldn't stop thinking about how I was so close to the end. Like it was literally my last week, and I just like couldn't rest knowing that I still needed to do this. Like I didn't want to just sleep and then stretch like twice the next day. I wanted to like actually do it right. So at 2 a.m. I like went outside and stretched and got it done. So I'm like really proud of myself for that. The second success that I have written here was definitely my hamstring, quad, and hip flexor flexibility, I think improved the most. So even looking at my splits, I started out not quite being able to touch the ground with my left leg forward in my split, and I ended being able to completely touch the ground, lift my hands away, and when practicing I was even able to like oversplit a little bit with the yoga blocks, like you saw in the previous, montage. Even in my lunges, I think you can see that like I'm able to get a little bit lower, and that was definitely super good. That it definitely also helped me with recovering from surgery.
So after this challenge, I ended it sometime in October. I had ACL surgery on October 16th, and the recovery from that has been pretty brutal. I'm 2 months out from the surgery now, so I'm feeling much better walking around. But in the time immediately following the surgery, my leg was like locked straight in a brace and I couldn't bend it at all. Going to the bathroom was like challenging, getting dressed, putting on my socks because I like had to be able to reach my foot with my legs straight. And so having that improved like hamstring and quad and hip flexor flexibility to begin with definitely helped me actually be able to reach my foot to put on socks and stuff like that. And I think post-surgery, I think my hamstring flexibility continued to improve because I was stretching it like every day trying to get dressed. So definitely glad that I did that. Post-surgery, I'm noticing that I have a lot of quad tightness now, which is normal just because, you know, all the stuff going on in your knee, your body kind of like actually shuts down your quad, so it stops working. And because you're not walking normally, moving as much, you kind of lose some of that flexibility. So I'm glad that I did what I could to improve it beforehand. Some of the failures, improvements, definitely I think the shoulder mobility, it didn't really look like it improved at all doing the routine that I was doing. I think if I were to do this again, I would do more shoulder mobility exercises. The like doorway pec stretches I was doing weren't really enough to actually improve my reach. Can't think of any like right now, but I know there's some that you can do like against a wall to help with like your shoulders and like thoracic spine. So I would definitely do those, and I think maybe after doing that, that might actually help it improve. Again, like the thoracic spine mobility, I think it would be smart if you have a really tight back to focus on those sort of exercises first, and instead of going straight into a bridge stretch, doing a modified bridge stretch, or even just like doing something like leaning backwards and touching a wall, not something like where you're totally in like the bridge position, because that did cause problems for me. So just be aware of that if this is something that you end up deciding to do. And then other just random stuff about the Bend app. I did find, I do still really like the app, but I do think it could use some improvements. Namely, I was finding that when creating and building my routines, it has a lot of stretches already like pre-built into the app, but there are some stretches that aren't there and there's no option to like custom input like your own stretch. So I think if they were to change one thing, that would be something I would definitely change, because some of the like thoracic spine stretches where you like lay on the floor and kind of like bend over a foam roller, those weren't in there, and I was doing those during like week 5. So yeah. And I think like the type of people who would use an app like Bend are people who are into stretching, and so they definitely need to have an option for you to be able to put in your own stretches that might not necessarily be in the app to begin with. But yeah, those were all my takeaways. Thank you for watching if you got this far. Thanks for going on this journey with me. It has been very challenging at times, but I'm also super proud that I did it, and it's definitely something that I will get back to when I'm in a place that, like post-surgery, my mobility and stuff right now, like there's I can only do limited activities at the moment, but once I'm able to actually start stretching and like doing yoga again, I want to like get back into stretching, because my dream of being a contortionist has not yet gone. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good day, a good week, a good month, a good life, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.